This video is about ants. The video is going to be broken down into 4 separate parts. The first part is going to be about ants and their lifestyle. The second is going to be a brief discussion about self-organization. The third will be about trapjaw ants. And the last will be about bioinspiration from ants. Part 1. Ants and their lifestyle. In front of you, you're going to see 2 ant colonies. The first ant colony is a trapjaw ant, and the second is a local ant colony. The trapjaw ant and the local ant colony are actually very different in the sense that in the wild, the trapjaw ant colony is actually very small and has very simple colony organization, which means that there's very little morphological differences in the workers, soldiers, and queens. The local ant colony can actually have a very, very large colony in the wild and actually has very complex colony organization, which means that there are clear morphological differences between the worker, soldier, and queen. Although these colonies are different, they still have divided work, which means they have a queen, a soldier, and a worker for the most part. Now, look at this image. You can see the real thing of this image on the table in front of you. What do you think this is? Take a moment to pause the video and come up with some ideas of what you think it is. Restart the video once you're done. What you just looked at was an ant's nest. This is the tunnel room system that ants build underneath the ground. In fact, if a nest is destroyed, the previous ant inhabitants will build another nest with almost identical features. The nest cast that you see in front of you is actually made by melting either zinc or aluminum and pouring it into the anthill. Once the metal cools, you can remove the mold from the ground and you have your cast. Part 2. Self-organization. Ant colonies thrive by using a technique called self-organization. Self-organization is roughly defined as a process in which occurs on its own without any direction. An example of what self-organization is not would be when a building in a major city endures some damage, the city will hire a head architect who will find a way to fix the building and then directs a group of people who will eventually fix the building. This is not self-organization at all. An example of what self-organization is would be in an ant colony, if a tunnel collapsed, worker ants will locate the collapsed tunnel and work together to fix the tunnel. There is no head worker ant present to fix the tunnel. Everyone is at the same level doing the same amount and type of work. Part 3. Trapjaw ants. We're going to look back at the trapjaw ant colony. These ants are special because they have the ability to fling themselves in the air when they're needing to avoid predators or feel threatened. Take a moment to pause the video and see if you can make some of the trapjaw ants in front of you jump. Go ahead and start the video once you're done. Now these jaws actually move at 35 to 63 meters per second, the equivalent to 78 to 148 miles per hour. Trapjaw ant jaws are open at a 180-degree angle, and the muscles in the jaws store energy. When it comes time for the ant to close its jaws, all of the energy is released, the jaws close, and the ant gets flung up into the air. This motion is kind of similar to a bear trap when it closes. The trap is open at a 180-degree angle, and when it's triggered accidentally, it also will jump into the air. It just won't jump as high as a trapjaw ant. A dangerous thing about this mechanism is that the trapjaw ant can't really control which way it goes. It kind of just gets flung in the air and it ends up where it ends up. Consider this though. These jaws are not only closing at extremely fast speeds, but when the jaws close, the ends of the jaws meet. Therefore, the cuticle in the jaw must be both very strong and flexible, because if it were too rigid, the jaw would shatter upon impact. But if it were too flexible, the mandible would absorb a lot of the force that the jaws create, and therefore the ant wouldn't be flung into the air. Part 4. Bioinspiration. Trapjaw ants have inspired a few miniature jumping robots. Another source of bioinspiration would be looking back at the trapjaw ant's mandible and the strong yet flexible cuticle that makes up the mandible. In what ways would a material with these strong yet flexible properties be useful? If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask any of the volunteers around you. If not, feel free to move on to another table. Thank you.